never did it myself. But anyways, tonight I want to introduce my guest back again, Chris Elmore, to join me as your host, Dana Labreck, and we are continuing around the subject of health, and we will discuss a mindset importance when changing habits. So, what I wanted to start off with is from my personal perspective, with the right mindset, it will bring the focus needed on changing any habit, especially when constant progress is done, no matter how small it may be, towards some needed improvement. And in tonight's continuing around health. So, do you believe people struggle with using the right mindset or just struggle with excess baggage as we all have at some form or fashion?
Loaded question as always, Dana.
That's me.
And
That's me. You know me
that's
now.
right. Ask the big questions. And I think if you go out and you look and you hear again and you talk, I think Tony Robbins, of course, comes to mind when everyone starts to think about mindset and the power of the mind. And it is foundational. How you think is what drives what you do. So if you have a habit, or think of it as a routine, something that you do, whether it's every day without fail, like we brush our teeth. This is something we do without even conscious thought. So your mindset, what you tell yourself, what you get into, drives everything that we do. So it's not just that part of it, but being able to consciously decide on new habits.
Right, right. Um, what is your perspective on how society can change their mindset and incorporate habits to improve their health?
Okay. So if you look at it, I would say there are four fundamental things that you would do in terms of setting your habits. Okay. And when you're looking at that and you want to improve your health, start to look at what you do on a normal basis. And then first, stack your habit. So if your typical morning is I get up and I have a cup of coffee, you might look and say, okay, what is this new habit that I want? And you may say, well, I know there are advantages to apple cider vinegar. So you may say, before I even go set that pot of coffee up, I'm going to stack that habit of pour that little bit of apple cider vinegar and take that in. Just combine it with what you're already doing in terms of an existing habit and adding in a healthy habit that you want.
So you can definitely understand where I'm coming from when I say this, because I put apple cider vinegar in my food, because I cook out of a crock pot all the time. Matter of fact, I got black beans going right now with other things in there. But I guess the thing is like you just said, when you wake up in the morning, and if you decide that cup of coffee is the first thing you go after, and then set your, you go ahead and bring your mindset into pattern with what you're going to do throughout your day, per
Mm-hmm.
se, or even at that moment, because um, our mind is so boggled in so many different ways. I mean, I drink 4 cups of coffee every morning, so that's me. But I mean, I'm constantly going, doing something because of my animals and what I have to do. Like matter of fact, I got to go back up on my roof and work on that because that's just something that I have.
Right.
Now, Do you think that there is too much media hype and this causes higher stress in many people and in turn dampens their spirit to thrive?
So, yes, there is a certain level of media hype that is engaged with almost everything.
Right.
And there's an inherent stress. And I think a good example is what you just initially brought up was how you take in your apple cider vinegar. Okay. Someone could stress, they could go, I don't like the taste, but oh my goodness, I have to take apple cider vinegar because it's got all these proven benefits. So there's these rules that we all follow. And sometimes we don't understand what the basis of those are. And that causes that level of stress that, oh my goodness, I'm not doing this and I'm not doing that and I'm not doing. And you get overwhelmed. It's like what little hair is left gets pulled out of the head. Like, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? So find where your values are. I'm looking to improve my health. Okay. I'd like to, as for myself, bring apple cider vinegar in. I don't like the taste. I don't want it in the morning. So you look for options. I take 8 ounces of water with a little bit of apple cider vinegar. That's what I take. My wife, no way, but she'll do apple cider vinegar with water with a little bit of honey in it. She's perfectly happy. You like to mix it into your food. So there's a part of it's looking at and understanding what it is that you're doing and why you're doing it, and then what is sustainable for you.
Right. And see, me personally, I have I don't even have a problem with taking a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar by itself, but I just put it in my food because that way it drowns out the excess. And of course, I have it in there because I believe in it truly. I mean, it's ever since I've started with it, and it's been a while that I can see what kind of difference it does make in my system.
It does. It does.
Um, would you say that the common reason of the average person is they will make excuses instead of really trying to change or improve their habits?
Interesting question there. And I don't think that people are looking for excuses not to do things. I think inherently people do want something positive, but they don't always know what because they've been told you have to do all these different things. This goes back to what you said before. Oh, you have to do this, this, and this. And now that increases the stress. And they're like, no, wait, it's too much, forget it. Instead of just realizing and stopping, we're familiar with setting goals. So if you want a habit, you set goals, right? It's like, okay, what is it that I want? You make those decisions, you set your habits, and then people say, okay, I know most people have heard of like SMART is specific, measurable, actionable, realistic, and timely goals. But there's another level to setting that, which is the heart side of the equation. And I don't necessarily mean heart healthy, but Dr. Jeff Spencer, he's a gold medalist, coach to a lot of top athletes. And he'd written an interesting article just related to having your heart inside of your goal. And you start to look at that. And I think it's real relevant to what we're doing because it deals with what's healthy, right? Enduring or sustainable, as I say it, but it's enduring, something that you're inspired to do, that you can sustain even when things are difficult, alluring as in, boy, this is something I really want. I feel pulled towards it. And it's relevant for you as a person versus, oh, my doctor says I need to do this, so I need to do it. That's not going to get you over the edge because we already know we do things we shouldn't, even when we know we should. and you want it to be, he says it's truth. It's being true to yourself and not doing it because, well, my neighbor or my coworker or someone else said, oh, I should do this. So when you look at it, you make a decision, you set your goals, and then you align it with your values or your heart. You're putting yourself in a position where you want to make that. And getting into how you set decisions and you stack habits, and there are other steps with setting habits that you can take, really helps so that a person who wants to make a change can make a change. I mentioned, I think at the very beginning, that there were 4 steps with changing habits. I mentioned about stacking. Another step in there would be make it small. You don't have to go in and make these drastic changes in your life. If you look at, I think we've all heard, if you just shift by 1 degree, what happens? As time goes on, there's this big difference. But if you can shift that 1 degree, just that tiny little bit, and you're able to sustain it, you're going to do so much better. So make something small, make something that, if you love Oreos and you need Oreos in your diet, and that's just it, this is my hook, my fix, I can't wait. By golly, don't say I can't have Oreos because they got this synthetic in it and then it's got this chemical. Go enjoy your Oreos. Really enjoy it, because you're going to be happy inside, and you can then make the changes that you really need.
Exactly.